All right, everyone. The hour of 6 p.m. having come and gone, we'd like to call the special meeting to order at 6:05 p.m. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Navarrete,
Here.
Wilson, Tillman, Williams.
Here.
Wait a minute, who's that?
That's Tillman. Not yet, Alderman.
Gardner,
You're jumping the gun, Alderman.
Patton,
Here.
Smith.
Here.
For the record, we have Alderman Tillman, who has made a request to participate in the meeting via remote participation. Per our ordinance, there has to be 4 aldermen present, and a motion made to allow Alderman Tillman to participate in the meeting. Is there a motion to allow Alderman Tillman to participate in the meeting?
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Alderman Patton, second by Alderman Williams. This requires a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll on the motion?
Navarrete,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Patton,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Thank you, Alderman. For the record, we have 5 aldermen present. Alderman Tillman participating via remote participation. We do have a quorum prepared to handle the business of the special meeting. The special meeting was called for a specific reason, as the agenda is attached. Also in the special meeting, we have our deputy clerk, Jessica Coffey. We have our city clerk, Yelta Figs. We have our city treasurer, Jerry Tarka. We have our attorney, Mark Sturk. We have our engineer, Matt Berger. In the back, we have our fire chief and our police chief. We have Joe Stanley, operations. We have Deanne, our chief city administrator, chief of staff, Val Williams, and Cleo Jones. Also in the meeting at 6:07 p.m., we'd like to record Alderman Gardner in the meeting. So the meeting was called specifically to deal with the request for a search. Just by way of update, City Council passed a RFQ looking for a search firm.
Were you doing public comments? Were you doing public comments?
Yes. So looking for a search firm to deal with a potential for economic developer. That's what we're dealing with tonight. After this meeting, we're going to have the regular city council meeting. So if anyone on the item number 3, public comment, is there anyone who would like to comment on any item on this agenda in the special meeting? Is there anyone from the public who would like to comment on this special meeting agenda? If not, we'll move on to item number 5 on the agenda, which is discussion and review of potential economic developer coordinator, the headhunter, potential interviews. We do have 2 companies represented that will give a presentation to the city council. Just by way of how we got here, we went through this search with the city council. The last time we got together, city council selected a gentleman. He is no longer as our community economic development coordinator. We do have a community economic department. Right now, it's led by a team. Part of that team, I will mention, we have Val Williams here tonight. Val's going to give us an update on a lot of the activity that's going on in our economic development department. So we have not missed a beat. I'm happy to say that we have not only a great working team, but we also have new businesses that are coming into our city. Right now, we have a total of 451 businesses, a total of 90 new businesses. We also have a total of 871 contractors, licensed contractors, businesses that are doing work in Calumet City. City Council, we should be proud of those numbers and proud of the new businesses that are coming in. Part of that is definitely at the helm of our Community Economic Development Department, as we have not missed a beat. We want to make sure that we continue the progress that we've making. That's why tonight we have these presentations, and we're going to start off. On your desk, you have a request that was submitted to you by Roberto Carmona. So we're going to ask you guys to come up, do a presentation before the City Council, and then we'll go on, ask questions, and then move forward on our agenda. Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Roberto Carmona, and this is Joey Moore. I'm the President CEO of Carmona Strategic Solutions. You all can hear me, right?
Yes.
And again, honored to be here. There's a few things I have from my economic development background, but I don't want to go way too far back, but it is a passion of mine. I actually was selected as a community builder fellow for the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and I worked on the Round 2 empowerment zones on the $1.7 billion initiative back in the late 90s. So I'm very familiar with that area. That actually led me to, because of the work that was done working with a lot of different communities on housing, community development, I received a fellowship in the Harvard Kennedy School. And my main focus there was helping the Office of Rural Housing and Economic Development get established. I'm a resident. I was born in South Texas. My parents are farm workers. Like many people that come to the north, they were looking for economic opportunities. I grew up in Sterling, Illinois. It's about 2 hours west of here. It was a steel town. It was a company town. So their economic identity had a particular focus, which was the steel mill, and then things changed in the 1980s. And so that became a passion of mine, is helping people. When I got back from Washington, I was called in to serve as an environmental justice consultant on the O'Hare Modernization Program. I started finding out with some of the experiences I had in the federal government and education that there were certain relationships I had. My work at HUD, and I also worked at the U.S. Department of Labor, was providing grants and other opportunities for different cities and counties and states throughout the nation. I started my firm, Carmona Strategic Solutions. I've been doing executive recruitment for about 25 years. Some of my highlights have been how I did the superintendent of police for the city of Chicago in 2006. In 2010, I was asked to come in to see if I could help place 4 of the city college presidents for the city of Chicago. I also work with the Chief Technology Officer search in the city of New Orleans, and then also with the head of IT for the Chicago Park District. That is some of the search work. We currently have a contract with the state of Illinois in terms of letting you know our engagement. We are the technical assistants and outreach consultants for the Capital Development Board. We work with a lot of municipalities, a lot of county governments to see how we can make sure that goals are met for minority, women, and veteran-owned participation on construction projects. So Joey actually leads. Joey Moore's been with me for about 7 years. And so we're excited to go ahead and help in communities. We've done projects in Waukegan. We've done projects with Chambers of Commerce in Rockford. We just finished doing an outreach in East St. Louis and also in Peoria. So we know the state. We know a lot of talent there. And so how we do our executive recruitment, you all have the proposal in front of you, right? So I'll just summarize it. It's basically the best searches that we have are when you have the client, which we would see as the mayor and the city council are very engaged in the process. And typically what we do is we start in terms of near the area. We look at similar communities. We leverage your relationships that you have. We look at municipalities similar or things that within the plans that you develop, like you're looking at Burnham or other types of communities, and say, you know what they're doing in this particular city in Illinois or the Midwest or another is something we're looking for. Because we understand that economic development is about growth. It's about getting people to come to your community, to building the tax base. So in other words, with all the different networks we have within yourselves, hey, Roberto, there's somebody that we know that's an assistant or an emerging leader, or there's someone that has family out in this area would be welcome. We find whatever it takes to get the right candidates. We just finished doing a search for a significant nonprofit in Chicago called UNO. We asked them, they'd asked us to come in on board with them. We said, we'll work with you once you define your strategic priorities. If organizations don't understand what their priorities are, we say, look, we can't help you. Keep hiring your cousins or friends, because what happens is that if you have no strategic direction, it's hard for us to go ahead and convince a qualified person to come and take a leadership role. We've also recently finished a search for a national organization that was contingent upon them around this time to make sure they had the right person in Illinois to be able to release the dollars from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. So we deal with a lot of complex stuff, but the insights that we get from the client, which we see as you, would be the ones, Roberto, can you follow these people? Then we also look at our database. We look at our connections that we have from some of the very effective university programs like the Masters in Urban Planning at University of Chicago, or the Great Cities Institute, some of the schools that you have in the area like Chicago State, University of Chicago, the alumni associations, the associations of public administrators, and then because of the fact that we have strong relationships with state reps and state senators in Illinois, we can look at different municipalities or cities and look if there's talent. My final point of the presentation will be, we look at making sure we manage the right talent to the opportunity. So as we look at the job description that we'll help create, we test it out in the market and we say, is the pay range accurate enough to get somebody that's good? We also work with their HR department to make sure that we're aligned with the benefits, because we wind up as your search consultant, as your partner, to ensure that we're selling this opportunity. This is the best fit for you. We go through a process in the different phases. The final phase gets to 3 or 4 finalists based on what you want to do. But we're the ones that look at the different resumes that you may already looked at. You may have somebody in-house that may be very talented. We say, okay, well, let's compare them. And if there's a person that is really excellent, that should have the opportunity, it's good to make sure that you did the appropriate assessment, and that person's going to have an equal shot at this opportunity. In terms of our fees and our structures, typically a search is 33.3% of the midpoint salary. We were proposing something quite a bit lower because we actually really want to do this. And then beyond the search itself, because of what I shared with you with some of the work that we've done, we go beyond the scope to help you with all types of relationships and connections, because if the city of Calumet wins, we win. So I don't want to get too much into verbiage. I'd rather maybe answer some questions about our process and anything that we're doing that we think resonates with you. Again, honored to be here. If we're the right firm for you all, we'll be ready to go at it. Please check out our references. They can talk about our recruitment experience. They can also talk about our successes and our work with complex projects, and then also working in government. And again, my background, I understand public service. I understand its value and what it means to grow in a community, making a community competitive, and having the right talent there is what we'd be committed to. And I'll leave it at that. Is that good?
That's great.
Thank you, sir.
Are there any questions, Alderman?
I had a question, Aaron, if I may.
Alderman Navarrete?
Thank you. You sort of touched on it a bit, but I guess it's going to be very important that the candidates understand the local context, kind of what we have going on in the city. We spent a lot of time over the last, 4 or 5 years kind of with planning efforts and such, and we also have our city's comprehensive plan. We also have a great economic development department. So I guess we want to make sure that what strategies are you going to employ to ensure that the candidates have a strong understanding of the local economic development challenges and opportunities here?
A part of the process whenever we look for candidates is also to maximize the value of the insights we can get from the candidates. So if they're doing some unique things that I think could be applicable to the city of Calumet, we'll go ahead and basically try to take that from them. If there's certain documents that you have, maybe the research is done by CMAP or the GCI, how well do they understand it? And then as we start probing closer to the finalist, we find out who they know, And then we go a little bit underneath to find out if we can really rely on what they're talking about. We'll check out the references, either formal or informal. Those are some of the strengths we have. Typically, what we'd like to do when we get, depending on what you want, the 2 to 3 finalists, is have them do a presentation at the end. I did a superintendent of school system search in a Native American reservation a few years back, in which they talked about how they interpreted your vision based on your strategic plan or any of the ward plans, and say, how would you add value to this? Because this is not a job, just to go ahead and have a job. This is going to require a leader. And that leader is going to have to go ahead and step up, and we want to hear, how are you going to implement this vision within 90 days? Or what are the expected outcomes and deliverables? What are the key performance indicators? We'll help you basically get those questions asked, so that make sure any candidate that comes here is going to be worthy of Calumet City.
Thank you.
So usually, how long will this take? So if the city council goes forward, how long does this search take?
We try to keep it, as I proposed, to 90 days, and it's also going to depend on how your processes work, because sometimes there's a deadline. I'll give you an example, like the search I was working on last year for the organization that was told that we're doing this environmental initiative, and the foundation and the government, the USDA, which are asking us to go ahead and make sure that we have a person in place before the January 2024. So in other words, we were originally supposed to do a 90-day search, and then we understand things happen. He says, Roberto, it's going to have to be 75. Not that I welcome that type of thing, but if it's something, I would say based on the 90 days, we can get this completed with everything aligned, everything there, I say within 2024.
So part of the search, everyone will apply. So how do you eliminate, people who background and also people who have that may be applying to be a cook or a chef? Mm-hmm. And we've gotten those positions, when we put it on our website, and we get all kind of resumes. So how do you eliminate that from your search?
We look at, make sure we have an understanding what the role description is saying, what experience they need, and what capabilities they're going to need. And so we can look at making sure there's an understanding. At our kickoff meeting, that's in phase 1, is that we get an understanding what you're really looking for, so that we can see if there's certain skill sets, a particular degree. So for example, how flexible are you on them having a master's in urban planning or public administration when you have someone who may not have the educational background but knows the community very well and can add value? So that's something we can negotiate and say, look, these are the candidates. We create an executive summary. So typically, if we see 30 to 40 people, which I would say would be one of the minimums we have, let's say the top 10, we can have more. We create an executive summary where we do our assessment based on the initial phone screen, and then we do the actual in-person, or because of the kind of the quarantine world that's hit us, sometimes we can do stuff virtually. They all get the same questions. The questions that they're asked are all approved by you, and then we summarize why we think they're a good candidate. Typically, a search starts off like this, where the client, which would be Calumet City, is the one that has the priority, and the candidate's interests are kind of here. As we start moving toward the search 30, 60, close to the end, there has to be a match. And so one of the things I really emphasize on is that you have at least 2, hopefully 3 finalists, because we are working for you, so that if there's only one finalist, what happens is that the client falls into the challenge that the negotiation is going to be bent toward the candidate. So you always got to have that backup person. So we don't let the runner-up know that they're out until we finally negotiated the fulfillment of the job and the start date. So there's a lot of nuances that are there. I also double-check the references beyond what they've listed, and if I know the organization, I know other people. Again, being very familiar with Illinois, different governments, I know what to ask and what insights that we have to gather. So again, we work for you.
Okay. Alderman.
Thank you, Mayor. One last question, and you kind of maybe touched on it, but support during the transition. So what kind of support do you provide to both the selected candidate and the city during this transition process after, let's say, if we do select a candidate? And how do you ensure that that new hire is set up kind of for success in that role post-hire, I guess?
Yeah. We want to make sure we have a good relationship with whoever your head of HR and anybody else that you designated from the economic team or any other team to say, look, Roberto, this is our onboarding process. These are the ways that they get oriented. I typically use an assessment tool, which we call the STARS method. In terms of the position, the STARS looks at the leadership challenge. Is the situation where it's a startup? No. Is it a turnaround? Maybe. Is it accelerated growth? Maybe for businesses. Is it a realignment? Possibly. Or is it sustaining success? If there's been someone that was here previously that just laid out a great system, we just have to follow that from that sustaining success. If it's a turnaround, then we work with the HR to see what those challenges were. Because the candidates will ask, the good ones that have options, what happened to the previous person? And why did they leave? And what's been the history? So our job is not only to provide them with the right insights, but knowing where the direction of the Calumet City is going, we can look at them honestly and say, look, this is an opportunity, this is going to be a challenge, it's not going to be easy, but you're going to have the right support system. We also ask the team, the economic team, to kind of provide us insights on what you think the organizational culture is. And then also your insights as the city council and the mayor, what do you think is the culture here at City Calumet where somebody can be successful?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I had, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? If not, thank you. At the end of the second presentation, we'll ask the council for a kind of roadmap of how we go forward now. So if you're done, do you have any closing that you would like for the council?
Sure. Again, thank you very much. Again, look up our backgrounds and anything like that. We're very transparent. We love our work with government. And again, if there's any other resources that we can bring to the table, our focus will be to make sure we deliver on this scope. But if we get to know each other, there's other opportunities that come that we may know people, we may know resources. Again, we want to build a relationship where we add value and not add work to what you are currently doing. And if we can get that really good candidate that can make a big difference, we're going to go ahead and vet them and vet them and vet them because, again, you know what, I've been here before. It reminds me of growing up in Sterling when you have leadership stepping up and transforming a community, and there's something that we can do. This is the skill set we're bringing to you all. So take it from there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next presentation will be done by Dave Niemeyer. And Dave, if I messed up your name, please correct me for the record.
Thank you, Mayor. It's Dave Niemeyer, but so thank you. First of all, Mayor and Council, I do appreciate the opportunity to represent you and to help you find your next economic development community person. So let me just tell you a little bit about myself. So I'm a longtime resident of the south suburbs, grew up in Oak Lawn. I was a city manager for 35 years. Spent the majority of my career in the south suburbs, Orland Hills, Richton Park, Homewood, and just a couple of years ago finished my last manager job for the village of Tinley Park. As you know, for a city manager, whether it's a small town or a large town, the city manager is very actively involved in community and economic development. So I had opportunities certainly to work in all those communities on retail projects, and Homewood industrial projects, downtown projects. So I think I have a pretty good idea of what it takes, I think, to bring development to a community. And also for my time there, obviously developed a lot of contacts and resources in this area. I was very active in the South Suburban mayors and managers. So about 3 years ago, I did decide that I wanted to try something different, but really wanted to kind of stay very active in assisting local governments. So I joined a firm called CPS HR. And so one of the reasons why I joined one is I think recruitment is just, I'm very passionate about it because ultimately it's the people in the offices that really are the ones that you depend on to get the work done. And as a city manager, you learn if you don't hire the right people, it doesn't matter how good you are. And that's really one of the most important things that, as a manager, that you had to do. CPS HR is unique in that they are, as far as I know, I think the only firm, we're actually a local government firm, but we focus just on the public sector. So 80% of our work is local government. There is also some work that they do for the state government, but that's what we do. That's our focus. And in my 3 years there, I've done several community planning development things. I've done police chiefs, fire chiefs, finance directors, you name it. Obviously, before that, when I was a manager, hired a number of planning and community development people in this area. And so that position is so critical, I think, to the success of the organization. So let me just tell you a little bit about, now that you know about me and the organization, a little bit about our approach. So there's some things that we really do. So it's really a three-part approach. The first part is going to be what we call kind of the information gathering phase, where we're going to be meeting with you. We want to meet with key staff. Often we'll meet, especially with a job like this, we want to meet with some of the key businesses, if that's an important issue. And we use that to develop the position profile, which will go into the recruitment brochure that we develop. And so you'll have input in that brochure, you'll have input in the ad sources that we put together. We do a wide variety of ad sources. One of the things that we're also well known for is that we have about 58% of our candidates that we've placed are a minority or women. And our work is really all over the country, but my focus, I'm really the Midwest director, even though I do work all over the country. And I have a lot of latitude in terms of what I need to do with the recruitment, because each one is different. A planner, community development director that I had in Tinley Park or in Homewood, you know, that's not necessarily going to be the same fit that it's going to be in Calumet City. We need to make sure that we understand up front what your priorities are and also what style you want. You know, are you looking for somebody that's really involved with the community, someone that's going to be an active public presenter, or is it more a behind-the-scenes position? So all those things are kind of come out, and that's what we spend the first couple weeks doing. The next part is really the recruiting part of the recruitment work. Okay. And so what we do with that, and so we recommend really a 30-day outreach for that. And so really our first week is what we call kind of our awareness campaign, where we'll make people aware of it. We have over 100,000 municipal employees in our database, and so we've got a large database. The ads will go out, but, you know, most importantly, I think, you know, for me, I will begin to certainly kind of tap into my network in this area, and that's really where I'll spend a lot of my time on the outreach part. And so that's really, you know, the first week is awareness, the second, third, and fourth week is kind of the meat and potatoes, where, you know, we're certainly talking to people that respond to our email blasts that we send out, but it's a lot of it is kind of talking to people and some of the other communities in the area that may have interest, finding people that may not necessarily be easy to find, and we use LinkedIn, we use Zoom info, we use a lot of different resources to find people that may not be obvious. And we'll also talk, for a position like this, we'll talk to people like the chamber, we'll talk to some of the area businesses, because it is a development position. They may have some contacts also. So that's really the second part of it. What we'll do is we screen the candidates. It's not dissimilar from what the previous room talked about. I will basically develop a list of questions, have you look at them. We'll screen the top candidates, and then I'll give you a list. Typically what it is, it's a two-part list. It'd be typically a group of candidates that we think best meets the needs of your organization. Then we'll give you another list of people that, you know, they meet maybe 60% of what you're looking for, but you may find something in them that may make you decide you want to interview them. Ultimately, this is your hire. Our job is to find the people, to give you my insights as to their skills, but we don't make the decision. So that's really the second part. The last part of it, if you do a full recruitment with us, is where we'll help set up the interview process. Some communities will do 2 parts. They'll do like a semifinal interview. Often it's done remotely nowadays. We design the questions. We'll help choose panelists if you have a panel. And then the final interviews, and I agree with the last firm too, I always try to recommend getting 3. One, because often what you see through this process is people drop out. I don't like even having just 2 people, because then that last person, one of the persons may bomb in their final interview, and then as they said, it kind of gives that other person a lot of leverage. So we try to get to 3 whenever we can. We will do reference checks. I will do reference checks on all those finalist candidates. Your top pick, we do a thorough background check, criminal, civil, financial, and that's really what we do. One of the things that I kind of briefly mentioned that I like to point to, nowadays, different community have different needs. A lot of my recruitments are what we call full recruitments, where it is what I just described. I just did one that I finished up yesterday. Some communities say, hey, really all we need help is kind of in getting candidates, and you screen them. And then in terms of the final interviews, the final 3 or 4, or whatever the number is, we'll take it from there. That's obviously less cost. And then some communities even will say, we just need you to do some outreach. Just go and find people and, give us some resumes and we'll take it from there. And we still do the brochure and the ads and such. So again, that everybody's different, and we try to make sure we tailor things to what you think you need, and of course what your budget can afford. So that's just kind of it in a very brief overview. One other thing I will say, for a full recruitment, a candidate that you hire, I know the question was asked, we will certainly check in, work with HR to, when that candidate gets hired. We also do a check-in after 6 months, where we'll talk to both the employer as well as the candidate, just to see how things are going. We offer a 1-year guarantee for a full recruitment. If you hire somebody that we interviewed and screened and recommended, and they stay there less than a year, we come back and do another recruitment, and the only thing we charge is just cost of ads and brochure. There's not cost for my time or anything else. So that's it, and just happy to answer any questions, Mayor.
Thank you for your presentation. Are there any questions? Any questions? Alderman Navarrete?
I think he touched on all my questions. Thank you. Yeah.
So the same questions that I asked before. Part of, you mentioned the search, you mentioned how long it will take. I guess part of what we want to know is, you mentioned that if person is here less than a year, does that mean that we get part of our money back if we go forward with you?
Well, no, what we do is we would, if that person, let's say they start in February 2025 and they leave November 2025, you still need another candidate. We would come in and do the search, and we're not going to charge you, my time and the time for doing the recruitment. So that's what the guarantee is for when we do a full recruitment.
Have you worked with any municipalities in the area to do a similar search?
Well, I have not as a recruiter. We did a search for Evanston a couple of years ago, doing one downstate now in Carbondale, but obviously I did a lot of these searches when I was in Tinley Park, Homewood, Oak Brook, and the like, so.
Okay. Any questions? So if not, I think the council is, they want to get on an expedited schedule. I know we would ask that you submit a proposal to the city. We would ask too that you come back, because I'm sure the council will have questions for you, and potentially negotiating the contract, or to see Then we'll put a motion on one of these city council agendas, and then hopefully go forward, looking at either October going forward, or maybe possibly at the end of the month. Because we want to get aggressive with the search, we want to get aggressive with the timeline.
Yep.
So if you can submit a proposal as what you mentioned to the city council, and then we'll go from there and then notify you.
Start working on it tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Okay, great.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for presenting. Alderman Tillman, I know you're on the phone. Did you have any questions? I know he just walked away.
No. I don't have any questions, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. The next item on the agenda, Val, did you have a presentation, or you want to just update the city council? I know I just mentioned a list of businesses, but part of what we've asked for the Community Economic Development Department is we've been sending them to a bunch of training. We've also been doing a lot of exciting projects with Build Up Cook. We've been doing a lot of exciting projects with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, a bunch of our rural assistant arguments, and of course, a lot of the technical assistance that we've been sending all the department members to get training on.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. We've been doing a lot of training just to beef up our capacity and stay competitive. A couple of things that we found out that we didn't know before. Everyone thinks that people leave Calumet City, businesses are leaving Calumet City. We've recruited 3 businesses from other communities. We took one from Harvey, we took one from Lansing, and we took one from South Holland. As you know, K Manufacturing and Lynn's Meats left us, but we have 2 major businesses occupying both those places. You will see what we call the Class 8 parade at the next council meeting. There will be about 9 businesses on there. Some are renewal. So Global Water, major organization coming into K Manufacturing, and Reyes Meats is coming into one portion of Lynn's Meats, and then there's another company, which I can't recall the name right now, there's so many, that's going to the other side of it. In addition, we have businesses coming in on State Street, Sibley Boulevard. I think there's one discussion on State Line Road, and then there's something on Burnham, and you'll see all of that next week. The most interesting thing that happened during the Heritage Month, Alderman Gardner and Alderman Monet is aware of this, and of course we alerted the mayor right away. Some of the businesses there, meaning the coffee place, has decided that they would locate brick and mortar here. So we're working with them on that presentation. So there's a lot. It'll be coming up next week.
Any questions for Val? No questions for Val? Thank you, Val. We're looking forward to the 26th, looking forward to introducing the new businesses to Calumet City. Before everyone came in, I gave you guys the updated numbers on the businesses in Calumet City. Mentioned we have a total of 451 businesses. We have a total of 90 new businesses and a total of 871 licensed contractors that are doing work in Calumet City. These are established businesses in Calumet City. Also, that through an ordinance passed by the City Council, business licenses are half until December 31st. So we've had a lot of businesses that are being charged half for the business license fees, but they're still coming in and getting those licensed contractors. So the fee as of right now until December 31st is $250, and those are the 871 that make up that number. So we're going to ask Cleo to make sure you send that report to all the aldermen, and then also make sure that you give it to Alderman Patton and Alderman Smith as well. All All right, everyone, there being no further business to come before the special meeting, is there a motion to adjourn the special meeting at 6:44 PM?
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Gardner. All in favor to adjourn the special meeting?
Aye.
Special meeting adjourned at 6:44 PM. We will start the regular meeting in approximately 5 minutes. Alderman Tillman, if you can stay on, and then we'll start the special meeting. The regular meeting.
Gotcha.
Okay. I'd like to call the regular city council, the rescheduled council meeting to order at 6:51 PM. Madam Clerk, can you please call a roll?
Here.
Here. Here. Here.
Thank you, everyone. On the remote call, we have Alderman Tillman. As per our ordinance, we have to have 4 aldermen present to make a motion to allow Alderman Tillman to participate remotely. Alderman Tillman has made that request. Is there a motion to allow Alderman Tillman to participate in the regular city council meeting? Motion made by Alderman Patton. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Smith. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Alderman Tillman, are you there? Alderman Tillman, are you there?
Yes.
They just made a motion not to allow you to come into the city council meeting.
State his reason, please.
I'm sorry. Alderman, for the record, can you please state your state your purpose for the request?
It's work related.
There was a motion to allow you in, Alderman, so at this time, you are voted into the meeting, Alderman, so we do have a quorum. We do have 6 aldermen present. Alderman Tillman participating via remote participation. At this time, would I ask everybody to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, we'd like to invite Pastor Fluker up to offer a word of prayer.
Good evening, everyone. Mayor, aldermen, elected officials, let us pray. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this moment. We thank you for this opportunity to gauge one another, to seek out plans, how we can enhance our community, our city. And we pray now that everything that is said, everything that is spoken, may it be done in a way that would bring you glory. May the words that we speak strengthen not just our city, but our communities and our children. We give you glory and honor and praise for strengthening our mayor and our elected officials. Thank God. Amen.
Amen. We were notified this week of the passing of the mayor of Steger, Illinois, Kenneth Peterson. I would ask that everyone please join me by standing in a moment of silence for Mayor Peterson and his family. Thank you, everyone. I know Alderman Williams, Mayor Peterson, and you're close with him as well. Several other aldermen, if you'd like to offer some words about him and his family, his life.
Sure. I definitely want to express my sincere condolences to the Peterson family. Myself and Mayor Peterson got elected right around the same time. At the time, our sons were on the same basketball team, and I actually coached his son. So we spent many days on the road. He was a very good man. He's going to be missed. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other aldermen? If not, we'll make sure that we send a arrangement to the Peterson family and also have a resolution at the next city council meeting. And definitely will attend these services. I had the opportunity to work with him on the state side, and especially when they had issues with the village of Stagers City Hall that had an unfortunate accident. But he has always been a stand-up person, has always been involved as an attorney and as a community leader. So we'll make sure the resolution is on the next city council agenda. The next item on the agenda is public comment. Is there anyone from the public who would like to comment on the items on the agenda tonight? If so, please step forward.
Mr. Mayor, city officials, residents of Calumet City, nothing for the agenda in particular. Just rose to, on behalf of All Nations Church, First Jurisdiction of Illinois, Bishop O.C. Booker, want to express our sincere appreciation to you, Mayor, and to those, Jewel, Ed, and Alderman Williams, who represented our great city to welcome our Men Perfected Men Conference to the city of Calumet City. They were tremendously pleased with our hospitality, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for our police chief, who always extends to us security. And so just rose to say on behalf of All Nations Church, thank you all so much for being a great city. All right.
Thank you, Pastor. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council on the public forum? If so, please step forward. At this time, we have not received any written requests. If anyone wants to submit their comments for public forum in writing, you can do so. If you have any questions, you can do so. We encourage that. We encourage you, any of the public who want to send any questions or comments regarding items, you can make sure you do that. We usually request it the 1 p.m. The Thursday of the meeting, which is at 1 p.m. You can send those via email, and we'll make sure they're read. The next item on the agenda, approval of minutes. Does anyone have any questions regarding the minutes as so presented on the agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve the minutes as so presented? Motion made by Alderman Smith.
Second.
Second by Alderman Williams. Madam Clerk, can you please call a roll?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, City Council. Next item on the agenda, reports of standing committees. Finance, Alderman Gardner.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. No report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Williams, Public Safety.
No report tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Ordinance and Resolutions, Alderman Tillman. Thank you, Alderman. HEW, Health, Education, Welfare, Alderman Navarrete.
Nothing this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Permits and Licensing, Alderman Patton. Thank you, Alderman. Public Works, Alderman Smith.
Nothing at this time, Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman. City Council reports. Under the mayor's report, I'd just like to mention a couple items. Actually, Chief, would you like me to mention the cop on the roof, bike with a cop? Is that tomorrow?
September 28th.
What, can you tell the council what's going on tomorrow?
Tomorrow, we're doing our Coffee with a Cop event at Bernadine Manor, so it'll be open to the residents of Bernadine Manor. We're going to be around town doing the Coffee with a Cop at other locations. But on Saturday, September 28th, 11 a.m. until 2 p.m., we're doing our first ever Bike with a Cop. It's open to those who want to bike walk or run. There's increments, 3/4 mile, 2 mile, or 4 mile, or folks can turn around whenever they feel the need to. But that's Saturday, September 28th, 11 a.m. We will start at the police station and go to the bike trail. The longest route goes to Green Lake and comes back, so anybody is welcome, of all ages and all fitness levels. So I'd like to see everybody there. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. And speaking of fitness levels, tomorrow there's a senior health and wellness event at the Calumet City Library from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. There will be food, music, prizes, and vendors. This is a senior health and wellness event at the library from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., followed by the Jazz on the Grass, which will be 5:30 p.m. Until. So again, there are two events. There's a senior health and wellness event from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and then the Jazz on the Grass, 5:30 p.m. Under City Council reports, Alderman Navarrete.
Thank you, Mayor. I just briefly want to say thank you to all of those that were part of planning the Hispanic Heritage Celebration that was this past weekend. I know Economic Development Department, Christina, Maria, from that department, I know we're involved. I want to thank all the businesses that showed up and that participated out there, all the residents that came and showed up. It was a great time, great weather. You know, last year we had some rain, so it was nice to have some good weather and enjoy the day. And then also want to touch on the economic development director position that we interviewed this evening, and again, just the importance of kind of accelerating this process. I know the council has spent many years, again, kind of developing a vision for the city and the area. I know more recently with visions for our River Oaks area. So to have an economic development director for housing initiatives that we want to pursue in the First Ward, specifically, the Burnham Avenue corridor. We saw some of those challenges back when we commissioned that report and that study back in 2019. We saw the challenges with Burnham Avenue where that a lot of the properties had back taxes. So although we had interest in businesses wanting to be in that property, we could not, it didn't make economic sense for them to pay, let's say, $180,000 in back taxes and then have to spend another $100,000 to rehab the building. So what we've done since then, and even recently, is create that framework. We did partner with Alderman Gardner's very active in our South Suburban Land Bank, our Economic Development Department as well, and pursuing these properties to eliminate the back taxes. And now taking that even further, the city is now able to acquire those properties ourselves through no cash bids and through legislation that was passed to allow us to do that. Now what's good about that is that the South Suburban Land Bank may acquire that property but may want to make a profit on that property, whereas the city has the flexibility to, let's say, once we acquire that property, to give that property up for whatever value that we see fit. It's a benefit for us to get that property back on tax rolls, to collect that property tax revenue and to generate sales tax revenue from these buildings. So that's, in and itself enough for us to not have to sell that property for much of a profit on our end, but to be able to do those things. So it's exciting that we are actively pursuing properties on Burnham Avenue over the past 4 years or so, more aggressively recently, and demolishing properties that maybe are, not the old Meats by Lentz, for example, or muffler shops on Sibley. demolishing those properties and getting those properties ready to advertise for developers. So again, exciting time that we're in now with Burnham Avenue to be able to finally get these properties advertised and occupied. So more to come on that. And again, Economic Development Director, I think, needs to understand a lot of the planning efforts that we've had over those years, and we'll make sure that they do. But that's all I had this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Council report, Alderman Tillman.
Thank you, Mayor. No report from the third ward this meeting.
Thank you, Alderman. Fourth Ward, Alderman Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. First and honor to God who makes all things possible. I want to thank the residents for participating in the Fourth Ward Prayer, Health, and Wellness 5K that took place a couple of weeks ago. I want to thank the sponsors that participated and all the partners, City of Cal City, the Police Department, and ASDA provided traffic control, ensuring the safety of the path that the walkers took. The Hive, Pastor Fluker, and the All Nations Church, School District 149. It was a great event. The initiative was to first promote prayer around the pathways to and from the schools in School District 149 and throughout Cal City. Pretty much we focused on that area. So it was very lucrative, needed, necessary, and we really appreciate the partnership with the pastor and coming out and offering words of protection for our students and better education as they go to and from school. Also, the next event for Fourth Ward will be October 31st at Caroline Sibley at 4:30. It will be the trunk or treat. If anyone wants to participate, decorate your vehicle. I believe Joel is handling the candy portion of that, so we don't run out of candy. But hey, it starts at 4:30. There's no end time, so it ends when we run out of candy. So I suggest you be there at 4:30. Other than that, the next town hall, the next third, fourth ward town hall meeting will be October 7th, 6:30 p.m. at Downey Park at 6:30 at 300 Jeffrey Avenue, and look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Fifth Ward, Alderman Gardner.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to say good evening to all the Fifth Ward residents. You guys are encouraged to continue to contact my office with issues. 708-891-8195. This past weekend, I had the opportunity to attend the Hispanic celebration event that was held here at City Hall. There was one of the vendors there. I would like to salute Maria Varela for her hard work in putting the event together. It was a very successful event. My office handed out school supplies, and there was a vendor there that was actually a coffee vendor that actually expressed interest in a location within the boundaries of the Fifth Ward. So we're hoping to explore that opportunity with that particular vendor. Also, my office is going to be in partnership with the Cook County Forest Preserve in a nature walk November 2nd for potential date. Please be on the lookout for details to follow. That's all I have tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman. Sixth Ward, Alderman Patton. Thank you, Alderman. Seventh Ward, Alderman Smith.
Yes, first and foremost, I want to say good evening to the residents of the 7th Ward. Also, I want to let the 7th Ward know that this week's monthly town hall is canceled due to attendance at the Illinois Municipal League Conference. It is, we will go to the next one, which is October the 19th, I believe. If you have any questions on that, please contact the Ward office at 708-891-8197 or email asmith@calumetcity.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Moving on to the agenda, item 8 are information items to be placed on file, items 8A through E. Are there any questions regarding items 8A through E?
Mayor, on item D, is there any background that we can have on that item?
Yes, I'll make sure I send that item to you, Alderman. It was a state grant TF North, we do have a support letter from TF North. They came to me and Representative Evans and Representative Smith. They requested money for their mobile van, and they've received $250,000 from us for that. So I'll send you the letters of resolution for that, and also the Department of Community Economic Development from the state side, giving them the $250,000.
So it's a partnership with the state, not Calumet City?
Yes, well, the partnership that they want to have with the city is all of our students that are participating in their classes. It's not a full agreement, it's just what they want to offer to the city of Calumet City.
No, it's great. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, Alderman. Any other questions? If not, can someone please make a motion to approve items A through E and place them on file?
So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Gardner. Is there a second by Alderman Smith? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion approved. Item 9 are new business items. 9, 1 through 9. Are there any questions? I know item 9 was requested by Alderwoman Wilson. Are there any questions about 9, 1 through 9?
Yes, there is, Mayor. Item number 6, I know on the previous agenda, there was a submission made by my office to remove the handicap sign in front of 849 Wentworth due to the fact that the resident that utilized the sign no longer resides at their residence. I know here tonight, I'm not sure if there was a new submission or request for a sign to be added, but I'm not sure if this is a typo.
It may be, Alderman. Do you want to make a motion to table this item? Because I'm
Yes, yes, pending further review, yes.
not. There's a motion to table item number 6. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Patton. All in favor?
Aye.
So if the council can take action on items 9, 1 through 5, and items 7, 8, and 9, is there a motion to approve those items?
So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Gardner. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Williams. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll on items 1 through 5, and then 7, 8, and 9?
Yes.
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 Thank you, Alderman. Item 10 are new business items, building permits. Items 10, 1 through 9. Are there any questions regarding? If someone can please make a motion to approve items 10, 1 through 9.
So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Gardner and second by Alderman Smith. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Yes.
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 Item 11, and there are no resolutions and ordinances tonight. So we'll move on to item 12, which is new business, financial matters. Alderman Gardner, items 12, 1 through
57.
57.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Mayor, I have one correction on the bill list. My apologies, Alderman. On page 7 of the bill list, we need to substitute Shamrock, we need to substitute Avery Scott Maymon on page 7 of the bill list, the bill list itself. It's on page 7. It's, the vendor's name is Shamrock Auto Sales, but we're paying them $500 for a ZBA meeting. So that obviously isn't right. We need to delete Shamrock Auto Sales and substitute the vendor Avery Scott Maymon, M-A-M-O-N, in the amount of $5. The amount is the same, just the vendor will change.
So,
payee.
so item in the bill listing?
It's on page 7 of the bill listing, Mayor.
So we still have to make a motion to amend the bill listing, item number 56, Alderman.
Alderman 57, Mayor.
57, I'm sorry. Alderman Gardner, do you make that amended motion? Well, the motion, according to the treasurer, will be item 57 needs to be amended for the name that he just submitted to you.
Okay.
Emery Shamrock, on the item number 57, page 7.
It should be Henry Shamrock?
No. On page 7 of the bill list, we need to delete Shamrock Auto Sales
Okay, delete Shamrock also.
and substitute Avery Scott Maymon in its place. The amounts remain the same.
All right. So I would like to make a motion to amend the line item on the bill list to reflect the substitution from Shamrock name listed to Avery Scott Naaman.
Motion made by Alderman Gardner to amend.
Question on 53.
Second by Alderman Williams. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll on amending item number 57?
Yes.
Yes. Alderman Gardner, items 1 through 57 as amended.
Question about item 53.
Go ahead, Alderman Patton.
Earlier this year, we approved a $5,000 payment to this vendor. I think it was on the emergency bill list for, it was either a Mother's Day or a Father's Day event that ended up getting canceled. I just wanted to make sure that that payment is going to be credited towards this event so that we're not, we're recouping some of that money that we paid for the event that got canceled.
Val, can you speak to that?
Earlier this year, we had a $5,000 payment approved to this vendor. I believe it was via the emergency bill list. It was for an event that eventually got canceled. I don't remember if it was the Mother's Day or Father's Day event that was supposed to be held there. The event was eventually canceled. So I wanted to make sure that, that $5,000 payment that we made back then towards the event that the city ultimately canceled gets credited towards this event.
Yes, we did. We didn't send a check.
We didn't, it was approved under the emergency bill list. We didn't send a check?
No, I don't think
Treasurer?
we sent the check. I don't think we sent the check. When it was canceled, I don't think we sent the check.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Alderman, do you mind if you approve it and then you can check on it? If that's the case, then we won't have to pay it, we'll get a credit?
Yeah, but we didn't send the checks.
Okay.
I don't think we did, but we'll double check.
Please confirm and make sure that you answer the Alderman question. Alderman Gardner?
Yes, I would like to make the motion to approve items 1 through 56 so presented, with the exception of item 53, pending further clarification. Correct?
Well, you still need to approve item number 57 because you only amended it.
Oh, so,
And then if you, are you doing not number 63?
yeah, okay.
We just
We're
had
just going
two.
to approve items 1 through 57.
Yeah, we just as amended.
As
So
amended.
that's the motion on the floor right now. Alderman Patton had a question about 53. And we approved it and said we're going to, well, no vote yet, but we're going to make sure we get the information to Alderman Patton.
I'll work with Sarah, and I'll work with Sarah.
So you want to place it on a future agenda?
So the question, Alderman Tillman, on item 53 was, Alderman Patton mentioned that there was an event that happened either for Mother's Day or Father's Day that was canceled, and we're trying to confirm if the check was sent to the vendor? And if so, we should get a credit, and Val and the city treasurer are going to check on that. They're going to check on the check. And that was the question about item 53.
So can I make a motion to amend item 53 to approve this pursuant to the discovery that the initial $5,000 check wasn't sent? And if it turns out that that check was sent, and I believe it was because it was on an emergency bill list and we approved it after the fact, that we would get a $5,000 credit towards this event?
Yes, so let's withdraw the first motion by Alderman Gardner and also the second by Alderman Williams first. Alderman Gardner, do you withdraw your motion?
I'd like to withdraw my motion.
For the record, Alderman Gardner withdraws his motion. Alderman Williams to withdraw. Alderman Williams withdraws his second. And Alderman Patton for amended motion on item 53.
I'd make an amended motion, item number 53, to approve this item subsequent to the treasurer's review of prior payments, and if the $5,000 emergency payment was sent for the event that got canceled, that we request a $5,000 credit towards this item, and if the check was not sent or not cashed, that this item be approved as presented.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Patton, you heard Alderman Patton's motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Gardner. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll on the amended motion by Alderman Patton?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So Alderman, we have two items that are amended. Can you make a motion for the amended items and to approve items 1 through 57 as amended?
So moved.
Alderman Gardner makes a motion to approve items 1 through 57 as amended. Second by Alderman Smith. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Alderman. Unfinished business, Alderman Smith. Unfinished business, Alderman Patton. Thank you, Alderman. Unfinished business, Alderman Gardner.
Nothing further tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Unfinished business, Alderman Williams.
Nothing, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Unfinished business, Alderman Tillman.
Nothing, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Unfinished business, Alderman Navarrete.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick request for, I think there was a zoning board meeting held on June 18th, 2024. If I could see the, I guess, if there's any minutes to that meeting, or what was discussed.
Was that the joint meeting that we had with them, Alderman?
Was it?
It's the only meeting we ever had with them.
Yeah.
Was that the one where we were reviewing, I guess, proper procedures on boards and stuff like that, where we're all a part of it?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. No, thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Alderman.
Thank you.
There being no further business to come before the city council, is there a motion to adjourn the regular meeting at 7:24 p.m.? Motion made by Alderman Smith. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Gardner. At 7:24 p.m., the regular meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.